This fucking...
Oh, my cat wants to show me affection.
Look at this fucking dude.
He's so smug.
He is.
Self-satisfied.
You know what he'll do? Genuinely. No word of a lie. We've noticed this is without fail. He'll be just chilling in the bed, just like, he's like, yeah, that's right, bro. I'm hanging out with my owners. I get up to even show...
close up on his face.
I get up to even show an iota of affection to, like, Jerry or Noggin. He boots it down his stairs that are in the bedroom. And he starts banging his head against me. Like, bro, what do you think you're doing?
We should include that in the...
Yeah, text it to me. Oh, man. Yeah, dude, if I even show an iota of affection for, like, anybody else, or any other animal, he's like, nah. I go to, like, pet Jerry, he's like, nah.
What about Lexi? Is he jealous of her?
Dude, sometimes I'm fucking clapping it, and he's like, hey, clap me instead.
Hey, let me get in there.
Licking my nuts.
I think Chunk thinks I will get jealous because every time he'll hang out with my dad a lot, he'll sit with my dad, and if I walk in and he's sitting with my dad, he'll jump down and then come over to me.
He's like, oh yeah, hey, Chris, didn't know you were home.
But I'm like, bro, it's fine. You can hang out with him. I don't care. Hello and welcome to the 125th installment of the Synapse Misfire Podcast and part 2 of the Jordan's Apartment special.
Yes.
I'm your host, Chris, joined by our other host, Jordan, and our third host for today, I guess, Oscar.
Way more better than fucking Alex. Like, way more
interesting. Honestly, he way more interesting, even though he doesn't say much.
Yeah. Better looking, though. He doesn't glow. Explain to me how the yellow dude doesn't glow under the lights, but Alex's fucking head does.
Yeah, Alex got like a shiny-ass head, so...
Dude oils his fucking head.
He every morning, he just covers in grease.
Oh.
Covers it in, like...
Not even, like, oil. He doesn't buy oil. It's just, like, McDonald's. Goes to the grease collector.
And he gets, like,
pulls it out.
That black grease you put on, like, your brakes or whatever, and he takes it and he
yeah, there you go.
Slicks it through his head, but it doesn't change color somehow.
Yeah.
Like...
Still a blonde.
So...
But, Chris, formalities, I'm assuming. That's what we like to do around here.
Yeah.
So, as always, you can find us on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Breaker, Radio Public, Spotify, Pocket Cast, and the RSS feed, all linked below. It's also YouTube, where we have a video platform. That video can also be found on Spotify. And you can contact us via email at synapsemisfire@pm.me.
What the hell?
Someone needs some new goddamn brights.
Yeah, sure.
And, as always, Instagram and TikTok, you can reach us there. Send us your questions there. And I've meant to mention this. Anchor made it standard. That's our RSS hosting platform. Made it standard that Spotify will ask the question. He's already bored of the show. He's like, I'm fucking out of here. We'll ask the question at the end of each episode. What did you think of the episode? So, it seems like it's easier than ever just to let us know.
Yeah.
So, one person already replied, said hot. I know that person in person, but they said hot. They think we're hot, Chris, which is pretty hot.
I mean, objectively we are.
Objectively, we're kind of fucking gorgeous. You know?
Kind of attractive. I'd fuck me.
I'd fuck him. I would not fuck him, no.
So...
No. Cut that from the air. Pull from the record.
But what I said, that's true. If I had a clone of myself, I'd hit it without question.
Yeah.
I feel like it just...
I'd hit it,
just
like
for the
experience.
Fist,
honestly, just
for the experience.
Did we talk about that in the podcast once? Like, would you fight your own clone?
Would you fight your own clone? Maybe. I think we've had one of those two discussions. Would you fight your own clone or would you fuck your own clone?
I would fight it. Like, I would love to fist fight myself. I think that would be great.
I would be fine doing either.
Yeah, I think fist fighting myself would be funny.
It depends on the question. Either way, I'm gonna say yes. Either way, it's for the experience. It's for the culture, you know?
Yeah, you either lay yourself out, get laid out by yourself, or get laid with yourself.
Dude, yeah. So...
Yeah, not bad.
That's quite a fucking way to start.
Quite a fucking way to start. Well, luckily, if you're with your clone, you'll be finishing, too. But, Chris, I think you had something you wanted to talk about, right, at the start of the show?
Yes, but I have something... I have something else that I want to talk about. That has just left my mind. Yes, got it. Spotify.
Okay.
I logged into our podcast email the other day. Gave Jordan a wee fright. Because I logged in and it pinged his phone like, hey, someone's on your account.
Yeah, and I was like, this has never happened before, so I just always assumed Chris was already on there.
Because I don't check it because I suck. Because I'm not an active part of the show.
I'm
the funny one. He does everything else. Yeah, you're not funny.
Oh, man. But yeah.
So I logged in to podcast email. Gave Jordan a wee fright.
Immediately, like, the femtosecond he hit login, he got attached to the Did you just log in?
and I didn't think of, like, 2FA or, like, a notification. I was like, is he mad that I logged in? Like, that's weird.
I'm just like, why are you on there?
What are you on there? What are you looking at?
Trying to look at our financials.
And it's all emails to, like, other people that are like, this is Chris's address. It's all to, like, Tim at apple.com, Jeff at amazon.com, Jay Bezos at amazon.com, E. Musk at tesla.com.
Fuck, man.
So.
God at godofwar.com.
But I saw that there's our creator Spotify Wrapped.
Yes.
And, not to brag or anything, but our show was the top podcast, the number one podcast, for 4 people. 4 listeners. It was their top podcast of the year.
That's pretty fucking good.
I'm just saying, we're doing big things.
We really are. I am saying, though, between the start of November and now, we've gained a good little push in subscribers. We're at like 49, now we're at 71 on YouTube, which is pretty cool.
And I hope with the, like, introduction of the string of IRL content that I have lined up.
Christmas special and all the other shit we talked about last episode. And with you returning to YouTube as well.
Yeah, I think it'll push more people here. And I think this is, in my experience, my view, this is like my bread and butter. This is my thing. I have a good time doing this show. I have a good time working on
I fucking hate it, for one.
See, you notice how I said earlier that Jordan does all the real work? That's why he hates it.
I'm over here, I'm like a laborer. I got like fucking cuts, bruises. I'm like hunchback.
Every time we finish an episode, what I do is
50 lashings.
I go to Jordan's apartment, I follow him back home, and I go and I crack the whip. And I watch him edit. I go, faster, boy! And I make him edit.
And then I try to skip ahead. He's like, too fast, boy!
And
he's like, you fucking dumb bitches. Shut the fuck up.
So, but this is.
No, I like the show.
I like this show because it's just, I get to, like, I don't have to write things. I don't have to do, like, and even the editing that is done by Jordan isn't very extensive. Not saying that I'm insulting your ability. I'm saying that it doesn't have to be extensive is what I mean. So, anyway.
What he's saying is the show's low effort. All around.
Low effort, high budget.
Fucking ballers, dude.
We probably...
Look at this mic. This mic was
At what point do you think this show will be worth more than, like, my car?
What's the Fiesta worth? When you bought it? Not
when
like
I bought it for $22,900. But it was probably worth like $20,000 when I bought it.
So we'll just say next round $20,000. When are we gonna surpass 20,000 lifetime? You're saying, or like monthly revenue?
No. I'm not revenue. I'm saying like total expenses.
Oh,
because we're at probably like 5,000 or 8,000 now.
Oh, okay. Jesus. I mean, with some of the stuff we've been talking about as of late, I would say like end of 2024.
Tomorrow.
Like,
and then the next video we upload, the next IRL video, so the Christmas
spending $12,000.
Instead of the Christmas special, the next IRL video we upload is, we bought another Fiesta ST and blew it up.
Oh my
God.
So
let's bring it back to reality here for a minute.
Oh, there you go. Sorry, I was gonna rap. I was not busting the Eminem.
Snap back to reality. Oh, there goes gravity. I like that song. Yeah, I'm not a huge Eminem enjoyer.
100% agree. Yeah,
that's a good one. There is a couple of bangers. It's like how I feel about Green Day. It's like I'm not a huge Green Day fan, but there's like a lot of good.
Some will come on.
You pull like if I hear like something from like an early Green Day album, like Dookie, like
I think I've heard that one.
I'm a good, I'm not gonna turn it off.
Yeah.
If I hear something from like American Idiot, I'm not gonna turn it off.
Yeah. No, for sure.
So, anyway, music tastes aside. I had a terrible morning this morning.
I almost inferred that. So I went out. The goal was for me to go out in the morning, come back. Chris would meet me here, like perfect timing, right? He was supposed to meet here at 11:30. texted me while I was like 10 minutes out, like, I'm on my way. I was like, damn, he's kind of early. This is going to be mint. I got here. 11:30 came. I heard nothing. So I inferred something had gone awry. Me and Letsy were filling up my tires, and the whole time we would like hear sirens. I was like, there's Chris, he wrecked. Or I'd hear someone like beep the horn. I'm like, God, there's Chris cutting someone off. Like, I just kept doing shit like that, and then eventually I was like, oh fuck, he might have actually died.
He might have blown up. And that's why... So, here's what happened. I was about to leave. Like, I had taken a shower. Like, I got up later than I wanted to, but not like so much later. Like, I wanted to get up by like 9, and I got up at like 9:30, 9:40. Okay, whatever.
Not too bad.
But then I just did nothing for like an hour.
Just existed.
So it was like 10:30. I'm like, it was like 10 o'clock. I'm like, shit, I gotta take a shower. So I take a shower. I do the shower things. Get dressed. I'm like, fuck, I gotta eat something. I'm just gonna go to Dunkin' on the way, whatever. So I texted Jordan, because I was like, at that point in my head, I'm about to walk out the door. I had not prepared anything that I needed.
Oh,
number one.
This shit?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Number one, I hadn't prepared, and then, like, I texted you, and I was like, it had occurred to me, like, oh, I just need to get all the stuff. No big deal. And,
you remembered how much shit we have.
Yeah, so I texted Jordan at, like, 10:58. I was like, hey, I'm getting Dunkin' on the way. Do you want anything? And, and then I proceeded to have, like, the worst 30 minutes of my entire life. It was like, I packed up all my stuff. I was running back and forth. I had to break down, like, the whole set. Not like the whole set of equipment. Because obviously, like, if I had to break down everything, I would have had a breakdown. Break down the lights, take the lights, get the power strip.
Get the
batteries, the whole thing. And even then, I forgot some stuff, so...
Yeah.
Not important stuff, but, I got all the important, stuff.
The show's going on. It's happening.
So I broke everything down, and I'm, like, moving all the stuff into my room so I can move it into my car. And then I'm just like, oh, fuck, I need to put on my belt. And I couldn't find my fucking belt. I spent like 15 minutes tearing every piece of clothing off my bed to find my belt.
It's like, oh, there it is in the rafters.
And I eventually found my belt.
Yeah.
Put it on.
Where was it? Just like in
So
a pair of pants
it had
somewhere?
fallen in the crevice between the wall and my bed. Because I was fairly drunk last night. I didn't move my clothes because I'm gonna be honest, I'm a bit of a degenerate.
Yeah.
I don't put my clothes away. I just put them on my bed, and then I move them to my chair when I go to sleep.
Oh, yeah.
And then I move them back. But I didn't move them in my chair, so I just pushed them over. Mm-hmm. So the belt got, like, sent into the crevice, and I couldn't fucking find it. So it took me, like, 15 minutes to find my belt.
Right.
So I get out the door, and I'm like, God damn it. I'm fucking mad. But I'm gonna
There's one thing Chris hates, it's setbacks like that. We both hate those.
Yeah.
Those will set us over the edge.
I leave the house. I just talk to my dad. I'm like, yeah, I'm going to go to Jordan's for the day. I'll be back later. So.
Yeah.
Basically. So I get out the door. I get in the car. And I'm headed to the Dunkin' Donuts. It's like a half mile from my house. Like, it's literally
so
on the road to my house. So
yeah.
I'm like, okay, there's 2 entrances. Because it's, like, on a corner, right? Yeah. There's an entrance on the side. I'm going to pass right by it. I'm just going to get into that entrance. Easy. Missed that one.
Oh, you missed it.
So I had to turn around to go onto the entrance on, like, the main road area. And get into that entrance. The light was red. I turned on red, like, because it had turned red, like, the second I got there. So I'm like, okay, no one's going to be coming. So
there's no way.
I just left it in second and banged through the red light. Swing back. Now there's a guy who sped up and was right behind me. Slowed down. No blinker, by the way. I was being an asshole today. Turned into the Dunkin' Donuts, or turned into the plaza, whipped around like a line of cars, like a line of cars that were parked around, almost hit a guy in a truck, turned around, and then got into the drive-through line. And then I ordered my food. That was fine. I did my order. That was all good.
Yeah.
But I was driving like a.
You did a little trolling.
I was doing a little bit of driving.
And a little bit of law breaking.
A little bit.
Nah, not really any laws, technically.
Parking lots A lawless wasteland.
I would say a lot. Yeah, it's no man's land.
So,
I don't think anyone knows how to put some reason to a parking.
Yeah, there was a guy in a Toyota Tundra who was very upset with me. And definitely, like, if he did not stop, he would have just fucking killed me, because this truck weighs like fucking quadruple what my car weighs.
Yeah. And it's probably a full 10 inches higher, too, so he's going right for your neck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I get into the Dunkin' drive-thru, I order, no problem. I get there, I pay. And then I'm in the drive-thru line, and I text Jordan, like, I was like, I should probably let him know that I'm going to be late, or that I am running late. So I texted Jordan, like, hey, I'm running late. I'll be there in, like, 15 minutes. And then I get further down the drive-thru because I didn't get a reply after, like, a couple of minutes. And I was like, that's fucking weird. I feel like that's something he would just send me, like, an okay or something. And then I looked, and it says pending. And I look, I have no service at all. Zero service.
Fuck.
And I was like, what the fuck? And I was like, I'm hitting buttons to try to, like, turn on and off data and, like, get it to, like, ping a tower somehow. And I got it to, I put it in airplane mode, turned off airplane mode, it instantly got service. Text went through. Reply from Jordan came in, as expected.
Yeah.
So I was already...
He's like fake sweat. He's like, he's mad at me, man. He's mad at me.
I was already annoyed. So I get out, and then just people are fucking driving, like, people...
Yeah.
I don't know if I've used this exact phrasing on the show before, in reference to people walking. I need people to walk like they have an intended destination. I need people to do the same thing with driving.
Yeah.
People need to drive like they have somewhere to be. Because someone else on that road has somewhere to be, and you're in their fucking way.
Yeah.
I'm that guy. I got so... Oh, you have any idea who I am, bro? I'm a fucking podcast. I got 71 subscribers.
Yeah.
Okay? I have places to be. I had to go to my boy's house.
Could you imagine, Chris? Some lady, you get to her red light, she's like, you're fucking an asshole, and you're like, I got 71 subscribers. And
that's
she's like,
legitimately, that's how, like, every minor influencer acts.
Literally.
Like, you see this on, like, Instagram, the person will get, like, 10,000 Instagram followers, and that's how they act.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm fucking better than you, because I got, my follower number, I got big number on internet, okay? Yeah. And you don't see, like, there's obviously a lot of humble people, but, like, there's a lot of people who see, like, an iota of success, and it immediately inflates their ego beyond, like, a reasonable amount. So, anyway, I have a place to be, and I'm also not, like, I wouldn't say I'm an aggressive driver, but I'm definitely, like, close.
Yeah, you're borderline.
And especially when I'm, like, angry or on a time crunch, I become way more aggressive. I was hurling insults at people. I was just mad going through. And then there's there's a bridge I have to go on to get on the highway to get to Jordan's house. So I'm on the bridge, and I'm behind this car, and there's a bumper sticker with, like, a line of, like, guns, and says "My Family" above it. And I was in my car, and I was just like, I was, like, laughing about this. I was like, that doesn't make sense. And I go, I'm looking at this, I go, I fuck my guns. My guns are my kids. I fuck, my guns are my wife. I fuck my guns. I was doing that little bit. And I just make myself laugh, so I was in a much better mood.
Yeah, as soon as
I got to Jordan's house. By the way, there's that hill I have to go up that you have to hit it with some spice.
Yeah,
or else you're not going
I usually
up.
hit it in second, or I do, like, a high revving.
Because that's what I did. I hit it in second, banged the turn, went, and then someone was pulling out of the street right as I was, like, cresting the hill, so I had to stop. And then I had to just, like, I was like, oh, fuck. And I barely, like, up the hill, and then I had to just, like, I panicked for a second. I had to jam it back into first so I could keep going because I was, like, stopped.
Yeah.
And then I continued down your road, no real incidents, park, let Jordan know that I'm here. And then he comes downstairs to greet me because he's obviously like, I can't just walk in. You need, like, there's, like, kind of a lock on the door.
So it's a bit of a lock.
You know, it's a bit of a security feature. So
all of a sudden the door falls down. I'm like,
well, you know, it deters honest people.
Yeah. There you go.
And I am nothing if not honest.
That's the fucking mantra of the podcast.
Where, like, you know, I'm honest like Abe Lincoln, you know, what can I say? I'm a bit of a president. Kind of a presidential candidate. Jordan comes down. Yeah, I'm running in 2024, actually. Jordan comes downstairs, okay, and I greet him, and I'm like, Jordan, I was gonna complain because I was angry, but then I saw this funny bumper sticker, and I was made fun of it, so now I'm in a better mood.
Yeah.
And then, like, I explained a little bit about how it was, like, I've just had a fucking terrible
just
time.
one thing after the other, yeah.
And, but now, do you fucking mind? It's like, I heard him burn out a second ago, and it's just...
No, and he's just continued ever since.
Yeah, squealing his tires and shit.
He was just in second on the highway for some reason. Like...
How do I shift this thing?
Dude, I did
Was
that.
this a CVT?
I did that earlier. So I have this weird thing where going back and forth between the Cobalt and the Yaris is just making me like a moron sometimes. And
I'm a bit of an idiot.
And earlier I was going from stop sign to stop sign to stop sign to stop sign on this road over here to get to my apartment. And I went from like one stop sign to the other, and I went like monkey mode where I was just like just shifting from first to second just over and over and over. And I got so sick of that I just like put it in first. And I took off, and then I just was, like, sitting there. And the car is just wicked loud, and I'm just like, oh! I gotta go to second, that's right. Yeah, I literally was just, like, moron mode. I'm just, like, sitting there first. I'm like, man, the car's being real loud right now. Oh, shit.
Maybe I'm
going, like, 25 in second first.
It was the same realization I had. I don't know if I talked about it, but on our way back from Monterey, it's a very mountainous area. There's a lot of downhill we had to do. And for, like, the first few hills, I was, like, just riding the brakes on the Hummer, and I was like, ding, light bulb moment. There's, like, an entire feature built into these vehicles where you can, you know, lock it out of a specific gear for hill descent. That's what happened. I was like, oh, yeah!
I'm pretty sure the way it literally occurred was, like, I'm sitting there with the camera, me and Alex are filming, and Trish just goes, I'm a fucking idiot. Hang on a second. And then he goes, I'm pretty sure you did something, not the same voice, because that's relatively new, that was after, that was made. Yeah. But it was something similar where you were like, imagine that, I just put it in second, and it just goes
I used the feature that's intended for this purpose.
Yeah, and then we just are coasting the rest of the way.
So, it's, you know, sometimes you have bad mornings, and sometimes you have bad times driving.
Well, I think I was just like a panting dog. I was just like so excited to get home and look at the new gun. I was like... It's like you with God of War. I'm just like, I was on the highway and first, like, shaking. Fucking 7,500 RPMs going like 30 and first, like, yeah.
Salivating.
Dude, the other day,
drooling.
This driveway, so there's a driveway right outside this wall, you know, a steep ass one here?
Yeah.
It goes to our mailbox. And the other day, Monday, Lexi's at her dad's. I come home, it's dark, because it's fucking dark all the time now in New England. I come home at like 5 o'clock, it's pitch black. I'm like, alright. Cool. First time ever I come down here, dude. Right? I'm like, check this out. I'm gonna go up this hill and check the mail. I fucking cut the wheel. There's just a dude standing there. I smashed the brake. Smashed the clutch. I'm like, Jesus Christ. So now, I gotta take off on this hill. Right? And I'm like, this is not gonna go well. So I tried to do it the way I've been doing it on lesser hills, which is I try to just be quick with it. Instead of doing what I used to do, which is like park and brake, or I'd go first, let the clutch start to grab, and then switch. I've been trying to just get better at like knowing the feel and just going.
Yeah, I think it's like it's something you just pick up, and then I think it's something you kind of have to learn with like every vehicle you
drive. New car, yeah. And I did that, right? I fucked it up bad. I start letting out on the clutch. I let off the brake. I hit the gas. I let out, and the car's going. And then I must have just revved so low, the car literally went.
Yeah,
and then stalled out on me. And
I've hit that one a couple of times.
And then it stalled. I forgot to put the clutch back, and I just kept giving it gas. I'm like, huh? As it's like bucking me, and then it stalls out. So I was so blisteringly full of rage. I just put it in neutral, and I rolled backwards and parked over here, and I walked up. I was so mad. I was like, I'm fucking sick of this shit.
A bruised ego.
Fucking pissed.
It was the story I told when my dad bought the F-150 that he has now. He had me test drive it for some reason. And I wasn't used to it, because, like, the clutch grabs not...
The last 2%.
The last... It's on its clutch is on, like... It's been on, like, 1 HP since he bought it.
Yeah.
So...
Like, where does it actually grab? Like, if this is your full range of motion, Would it be like up here near the cap, like
Oh,
that fucking
so
high?
if it's like this is to the floor,
Yeah.
and this is so it grabs like legitimately like here.
Yeah, the Yaris
So-
is like over here.
All your clutch, you know how you have to like, you can feel it grab, and there's the bite point, and you like
Yeah.
slowly kind of like let it out.
And then
You have to do all that motion in the last 10% of the pedal. So
There's no fine. There's like a fine line between dumping it and having it in.
and I wasn't used to that because I was like, it's not going. Am I doing something wrong? And that's what I pulled because I wasn't used to this clutch. So I was like, so it was like a fucking. It was a spectacle.
Just fucking. That was literally me.
And I was with the guy who was selling it. Like he was in the truck with me,
Oh, no.
and he was not pleased.
Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah.
And then I was like, I gotta tame this beast now. I
Yeah.
know how to do this. I know how to do this.
Yeah.
So I eventually figured it out.
Yeah.
And now I quite enjoy driving that truck. And I don't anymore because of the exhaust problem. but
Yeah, that's just so loud. It's not
It's-
even fun.
It's fun to drive, but not with that exhaust. Or lack
Needs a new
thereof.
Serpentine, by the way. Did you hear that?
Yeah, I
I
did.
know that noise very well. I just got the new
or
Serpentine.
lack thereof, in terms of, exhaust muffling, that is.
Yeah.
So you hear that full, mighty V6 and all its glory.
Look at Oscar said, "What?"
Oscar's going,
So, what are you doing with your fucking foot, you weirdo?
he's airing out the dogs, bro.
I meant to mention this. I don't know if this happened. I think
There's
this
like
is before-
sediment.
There's sediment.
Yeah, there's like some of the tea, you can't see it anymore, but some of like the tea or whatever settled out of this.
Oh.
It's from just leftover sprue from production. It's like sediment in
Oh,
here.
Jesus. But so I think this happened in between podcasts. So I know you've heard of this. I haven't talked about it on the show. I don't think though.
I've heard of a
So-
lot of things.
The Cobalt had an evap code. We knew about this.
That
I
I
had
knew.
fixed it a while ago, or at least I attempted to. My logic being, like we had talked about this, like I didn't want to fire the parts cannon on it, but I will fire the cheap parts at it. So I went and bought the purge valve solenoid because looking up that year, it's like that's the most common thing. I'm like, it's $34. Like if that saves me bringing it to a shop where the diagnosis is $115,
Yeah,
I'm gonna just do that. Throw the solenoid in, clear the code, drove the thing 350 miles. Not a single fucking issue. I'm like, mint. Parked the Cobalt for the exhaust issue recently that I talked about in the podcast. Fits that. Get the car back. Evap code returns the other day. I throw in the towel. I'm like, I'm done. Like I don't have the tools. I don't know how to test the system. I can't do it. It's out of my hands.
Yeah, an evap is a pain in the ass because like there's things that you can control and manually to check if you have the right scan tool. It's
Yeah.
just that the right scan tool is like $6,000.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't have any logical way of doing this other than just being like part.
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna do that. So I bring it to the
At
shop.
that point, you're just throwing away money.
Yeah, so the Yaris needed a new serpentine belt. Every cold morning, every rainy morning, I'd start it. I'd like put the clutch in, belt would start slipping. I'd put it in gear, belt would start slipping. I'd turn on the defroster, belt would start slipping, and then it would eventually go away after like a minute or two, and it'd be fine. But I'm like, I gotta get this done sooner rather than later. Call a place, they're like, $100. All right, mint, beats me having to do it. But then I'm like, oh, why don't I just take the Cobalt too? Bring it there, diagnose it. All right, they're like $115 diagnosis. They call me back. Guy goes, I have good news and I have bad news. He goes, good news, the leak is gigantic, super easy to find. He goes, bad news, it's so big that there might be smaller leaks that we can't find because the other one is just
Fair.
so leaky.
Yeah.
He goes, so I just want to disclaim this now. This is what you need to fix the big leak. There may be other leaks that we cannot find and account for yet. And I was like, yeah, no, I get it, dude. I get how the process works. Like, you're not screwing me. I get it. So, after talking with him, it was a 12-foot and an 8-foot fucking vapor line destroyed. He was like, we put it to the smoke tester, dude, and it just went at the side of the car.
It's just like the whole goddamn evap system, practically.
Yeah, and I'm thinking to myself, he says 12 and 8 foot. I'm like, ooh, this is going to be a little pricey. And honestly, it was, but it wasn't as bad as it could have been. So, what they did the smoke test, a serpentine belt, because I was like, I'm 3,000 miles away, just fucking do it. You have the car. Like, just do it for me. So, serpentine, smoke test, 2 vapor lines, GM brand, like from Chevrolet. They were $170 a line.
Yep.
Right? The labor for that, and then a re-smoke test to look for those minor leaks. Cost me $800. Fucking hurts.
Parts
But-
and labor?
Parts and labor.
Okay.
But my thinking, obviously it's tricky. I even told the guy when I picked up the car, I said, dude, this car is such an anomaly to me. And he starts laughing. I'm like, dude, this car drives so well for an automatic. I hate automatics now. I'll get into that later. But for an automatic, drives so well.
Sure, it's got the bug now.
Has such low mileage. Like, everything's good on it. But then I have to put these little things here and there, like the exhaust and stuff. And it's like, I don't want to sell the car, but it's worth nothing at the same time. And he starts laughing, and come to find out the guy who fits my car drives the year before that. He has the same car, drives the year before it, and really likes it. And I was like, oh, yeah, that's cool, whatever. And I start talking about the Yaris and stuff. But my point being, the whole experience of just bringing it there and, like, alternating cars and having them do all this work, like, with the serpentine for the Yaris, it ended up being $880. It would have taken me 3 hours just to do the serpentine belts myself. And then on top of that, those vapor lines, I don't even know where they run. The guy said it goes straight from the engine manifold all the way back to the gas tank. I don't know what route that takes if I would have had to pull the whole fucking exhaust and do all this dumb shit.
When Jordan was explaining to me the serpentine belt thing, I was like, that's not that hard. I've done a serpentine belt before. But then I remembered, when I did the serpentine belt, it was on my truck, and the engine is this way, where the serpentine belt's right on the front, and you can just reach down and do it. And the Yaris, because it's front-wheel drive, it's this way, so you have to reach your hand where there's, like, the wheel.
Yeah, there's a strut tower there, there's the wheel, and then the Cobalt's even tighter, because there's an entire, like, EGR system above it, so...
Oh, you get the California spec.
Yeah, so they did it, like, literally, the Yaris, I dropped it off on a Thursday morning. A Wednesday night after they were closed. So, Thursday morning, essentially. They open at 7. Dude calls me at 7:46. Hey, yeah, your Yaris is ready. I was like, huh? What?
What?
I was like, Jesus. He's like, yeah, that was easy. I'm like, yeah, no big deal. It's all done. I'm like, all right, cool. Like, the fact that they did that in, like, 46 minutes beats me in this weather that we're getting right now. Trying to sit out there fucking pulling wheels off with the car up and going underneath and fucking loosening bolts. And...
That's kind of the debate I'm having with myself right now, because it's like, because of the weather, is it worth it? Because I need an oil change. And I need a drain plug, because mine's completely rounded off. Is it, like, is it worth it sitting out in the cold and laying on the ground?
Getting pissed off.
Yeah, when I can spend $30 parts and labor for my mechanic to do it.
Yeah, like, fuck that.
I'm fine, like I said, I think I've said these exact words before. I'm fine installing, like, modifications and stuff on my own, but, like, maintenance stuff, if it's like brakes and stuff, I'll take care of it. Because I was going to do brakes anyway, and then, like, my wheel fell off, so I'm like, oh, it's already in the shop, so...
You might
as well take care of it. So, like, if it's, like, brakes and stuff, or, like, tire rotations, I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
But, like, there's not a lot of room under there in general. If I'm going to crawl around like an asshole.
Yeah.
In, like, 20-degree weather.
Yeah.
And have to put it up on jack stands... Right?
On a crooked-ass driveway.
Be underneath it while I get a socket and have to hammer it on while it's probably going to start rocking back and forth.
Yeah.
I'm like, you know what?
Just let
Is this worth my time? I'm probably just going to bring it to the guy, because, like, he's quick. He'll do the extraction, and then he'll do the oil change, and...
Call it a day.
Yeah.
Like, that's how I look at it. One of the things the draft man always said to me, because we've said this before, how draft man was, or I guess is technically like a mechanic or a technician. He loves working on his cars, but he always said to me, do you have more time or do you have more money? And he doesn't mean that in a sense of like...
See, I have neither.
Well, he doesn't mean that in a sense of like, can you just blow money? But like, do you have more time to spend $100 and spend 8 hours doing this job yourself, or 6 hours on your back? Or do you have the $400 to pay Schmuckface to do it in an hour with his lift and his tools and be done with it?
And at the end of the day, too, the full synthetic oil change costs me like $25, and to have it done costs like $40.
Yeah.
Especially if I have to do the whole extraction thing with the new drain plug, the whole 9.
Yeah.
Like, and it's $40 plus it'll, probably... I don't think he does partial hours. I think that he'll do like increments of like half an hour. So if it's like that and half an hour labor, I don't really care.
Yeah. To me, that's how I was with the serpentine, where I'm like, sure, that's good stuff to know, like when you're on a pinch and you have to do it yourself. Like, and I'm familiar with how to do it.
I think it's important to know how to do it.
But you don't have to do it every time.
Right? I think... Yeah, people will fall into the trap of like, oh, I have to do this every time. That's like definitely something that I fall into.
I fell into it hard. I did the whole Friday of the Cobalt myself just because I was like, I gotta do this.
Because it's like I have to do this and need to do it, but like also, do I really want to do this?
Like that was the first logical thought I've had in weeks, where like the guy was like, I have to do all this stuff at the engine with the vapor line and this and that, blah blah blah, and I wasn't gonna do that, and I was like, I was going to do a serpentine belt in the spring. Hey, how much would it be for the serpentine? Oh,
While
same
you're
thing
in
as the
there.
Yaris. Oh, and you're going to have to take it off to do what you're doing? Do me a favor, replace that. I literally said to the guy, I said, I don't know if it's going to be a problem, but, like, could you maybe do the serpentine while you're in there? He goes, dude, count it as done. Like, fucking easy mode.
Well, it's like when my,
Like,
when my, when my Fiesta blew up, and the wheel came off, not wheels, wheel.
wheel singular.
When the mechanic called me and talked about it, he's like, this is what it needs. I said, is there anything else it needs while you're in there? And there wasn't anything, because it was like, pretty much all the stuff that makes the wheel turn needed to be replaced.
Imagine that when the wheel falls off, that kind of happens, huh? I still remember the hole in your fucking rim that we saw.
Yeah.
Where the fucking rotor just fell into it. God damn.
Yeah. Fun times.
Honestly, that shit's just scary too. Like it's one thing to have like a tire that goes flat, but to have a wheel that just goes, huh?
Yeah, and that's part of the reason why I understand the purpose of a torque spec. I understand why you would do a torque spec. I have, this ingrained idea of like, I don't want this to happen again, so I'm going good and tight. I'm going German special on this.
Yeah.
And I have the distinct advantage of, if I need to undo this, I can just set up the breaker bar and step on it. I have enough weight behind me.
Right.
Whereas Jordan could just stand on it because he weighs nothing.
I did that on Alex's car when we were doing his shit. Remember, I was just bouncing on the bar.
Yeah. Because Jordan weighs you're like a $120 with soaking wet with change in your pockets.
Pretty much. My normal weight's at 116.
So, you know.
But like, yeah, I do everything torque spec until the day it fucks me, and then I'm like, I'm back to good and tight. But after talking with Giraffe Man and stuff, he was always like insistent about that. I was like, if I'm gonna do it the right way,
if I'm doing precise work, like if I was going to like build an engine, if I was gonna like reassemble an engine, yes, I would use torque specs. And there's like certain things that are like, if you over torque this, you're fucked.
Yeah.
Especially with like head bolts where there's like a specific amount of torque you have to put on, and there's a specific pattern you have to do because the bolts stretch in a specific way.
Yeah.
So if I'm doing precise work like that, then yes. But like if I'm putting on a tire, like I can get this off, I'm fine with that. I don't really.
Yeah.
What I will follow a torque spec on, I'll tell you this right now. Oil lug. Oil drain plug.
Yeah. No, for sure.
Someone fucking gave it the like Jiffy Lube special.
I bet there's gonna be Loctite on there when you find out.
If I'm gonna ask when I get it done, I'm gonna ask like, what was holding this thing on? Like, what'd you have to do to get it off?
Yeah.
And it's just gonna be a story of like, well, so I had to basically put the extractor set on it and get a breaker bar and then get a pipe, put that on there, and then that didn't work, so I got the big air impact, the 1-inch drive impact, and I put 3,000 foot-pounds of torque on it, and that still didn't work, so
then I spit on it and it fell out.
What happened when I was trying to undo it is I had my wrench like this under my car, and I was pulling myself up on it, so I don't know what the fuck is holding that thing on.
God damn. Could you imagine if after all that time you found out you were tightening it?
See, no, I was making sure. Yeah. What
did that happen with? What did we do that with? We were doing something on like Alex's car. And Alex was like, I can't fucking get it. I'm like, Alex, you're tightening it.
It might have been like, it was something either with Alex's car, like on my truck.
Yeah.
Where you're like, you're tightening this. I'm like, oh.
Maybe it was the spark plugs. Maybe it was those.
Well, that was one thing where like I made sure to not do that.
Yeah, there was something. It was a funny time though, but yeah, there was something. I remember us working with Alex on something, and one of you was just like going to town on something, like, you won't fucking move, and I was like, righty tighty.
It's the wrong way.
Lefty loosey.
I have to picture it in my head a lot of times.
That's the hardest part. And then it gets even more confusing if there's like a knot on the other side too, depending on
if it's like
thread.
Yeah, I'm not like really good with perspective, so if like I'm upside down, I have to like readjust and then make a diagram in my head. I had to pull out the laptop, make a CAD model.
I've always said, like, I don't know why.
Write a full simulation and...
Maybe they do, but I've never seen it. They should, like, mark reverse-threaded bolts as reverse-threaded, because the amount of stuff I did in the Cobalt that I found out was reverse-threaded.
Really?
Where I was just like, this just isn't budging, so I'm like, I don't want to break it. YouTube. Oh, it's reverse-thread.
I've only seen reverse thread on, like, propane fittings.
Yeah, it's fucking stupid.
When doing propane stuff, like with like my grill
and
shit, I think everything is reverse thread. I think.
Yeah, probably.
So, don't quote me on that, because I very well could be wrong. It's happened before.
You've been wrong before?
Allegedly. Not that I'm willing to admit.
I mentioned this before the show about something I wanted to bring up.
Yeah.
There's a story about my nephew. So, for context...
I mean, like this. You look so tiny when you lean back, and I look giant.
Yeah, if I'm all the way back
You look like you're 2 feet tall.
So, that's a funny perspective. So, for context, not a ton of context because I don't want to spoil what we're doing, but there was something we have to grind up for a project we're working on. I'm trying to think of a good way to grind it.
Not illicit material, it's...
Yeah, maybe I should I'm just going to say
it's spices.
It's spices. I have to grind spices, okay? They didn't have ground at the store, so I bought whole cloves, alright? That's the full context. That's all you need to know. I have to fucking grind it up, so I was talking to Chris, I'm like, oh, I don't have like a fucking pepper grinder or anything. Like, I have nothing I could put this in. Maybe the blender. And then I think Letsy said from the other room, like, oh, just use the mallet.
The Meat Mangler 9000.
And Chris goes, yeah, we can mangle each other's meats. And it brought me back to this mindset of, holy shit, you just gave me like a giga blast in the brain, dude.
A little brain blast?
Where
Jimmy
in
Neutron
high school,
style?
we were playing Overcooked with my nephew.
Okay.
And in that game, you have to prep stuff. So, like, you'll grab a head of lettuce and you hold Y and your character goes...
Yeah, he mangles his meat.
You chop it up. So, here I am. I'm 17, going on 18 maybe, like that age. Same age for Letsy. And my nephew is like... What's our age difference? Probably about 12, 11, 10, somewhere around there. I don't know.
One of those ages.
Younger, a lot younger. Not even, like, probably in middle school or before middle school at this point.
I know where this is going right. Bro said something out of pocket for sure.
And we're playing the game, and the whole point of the game is you get pressed for time, and you're overcooking stuff, and you're like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. So I get into it, and I start going, beat the meat, beat the meat, beat the meat, beat the meat. And then...
So it was you who said something out of pocket.
So then... My nephew, his parents, in the other room talking to my parents, and my nephew just starts yelling, beat the meat, beat the meat, beat the meat. And I'm like, I immediately, I heard him. You
corrupted the poor guy.
I heard him, and I just put the controller down, and I was like...
You just sat back for a moment and reflected.
I was like, oh, fuck.
It's one of those, like, cartoon scenes and the background changes to indicate, like, a time change.
Yeah, I'm just like, oh, no.
He reflected on that for a moment.
So I, like, went back out there. I tell my brother, so obviously his dad, and I'm like, hey.
I'm sorry, bro.
I'm like, hey, you might want to tell him, because I didn't want to tell him. I'm like, you might want to, like, try to...
Tell him not to say
Tell him the implication of this statement that I may or may not have said that he's now repeating on loop.
Yeah.
And my brother just starts laughing. He's like, oh, fuck. And I don't know if they ever told him like what it means. I think they just said like, hey, don't say that out loud.
You've
like,
corrupted him.
Yeah, I was just mad.
Yeah, no, that's why, like, I don't say, like, because obviously I talk to everyone pretty much the same. Like, despite the fact, like, if I'm talking to even a child, I talk to them the same way I talk to anyone else.
It's like, you want a beer? Kid's like fucking 7.
What's up, bro? You want some whiskey? You can drink this, right? What, you're like, what, 10 now? You can have that.
And double digits. I mean, I see 2 shots for you.
So, you know, what I do is that's like one of the only times where I deliberately self-censor and I won't say things as out of pocket as I would normally.
Mm-hmm.
I'll make like jokes and like remarks, but I won't like use phrasing and terminology that
should be.
Yeah, because like obviously it is more poignant with like my nephews and shit because like I'm not these kids' father. I don't know what he wants them to know. Yeah. So like if
how advanced they are in that.
Yeah, like if I say something out of pocket, and it's like, you know, I think it might go over their head, but it's like something that maybe, you know, I don't know. I don't want to teach them bad things, basically. Yeah. I don't fucking know.
100%. Yeah.
So that's why I go out of my way to not interact with children in general. Dude,
actually, same thing happened. Now that you mentioned that about teaching them bad things, same thing happened at D&D. I might have told this on the podcast a long time ago. This is like when we first started doing D&D, because that's the nephew that I play D&D with.
Oh, so same kid. You've already corrupted him, and you're gonna go corrupt them further.
I was getting fucked in D&D. I was getting fucked by like 10 goddamn enemies, right? And I went, they're fucking gangbanging me.
Oh no.
Some time goes by, and everyone laughed at that. Like, ha ha ha. My nephew's just sitting there. Sitting there, he comes to his turn and he gets surrounded.
Something's brewing.
And he gets surrounded. His character gets surrounded and he starts and he gets mad. And he just goes, I'm sick of these guys gangbanging me.
Sick and tired of it, bro. And
just like sits back. And I literally was like, I balled up. I was like, oh no, shit. And his mom was like, no, don't say that or whatever. And then he looked like, what? He just said it.
Yeah.
And I turned to him and I was like, hey, you know
that
thing I said? That was like kind of bad. Like, I shouldn't have said that. I was just upset. Like, don't ever use that phrase. I still don't think he knows what a gangbang is, but he knows the word now.
Fair.
But I was like, fuck, dude. So I've been trying to be a little more filtered at D&D because I tend to get a little off the rails. That's why I've said before I think we'd be really awesome to have a D&D party. Because I'll be sitting there like, I'm going to fuck that guy. And I'll impale him on a sword.
We talked about this at work like yesterday. And I was like, I can't imagine how fucking out of pocket that would be.
Yeah.
That would be just like, it would be the craziest campaign imaginable.
Yeah. It would be absurd.
The limits are like, because I know there's different campaigns that are like official, there's unofficial ones, whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know the limits, but as far as I understand, which is not much, it's like basically just limited by your imagination.
Essentially. There's so much improv that goes into it on the DM's part. Like, there's entire segments of our last campaign and this campaign where my brother just like had an inkling of where we were going with the way we were behaving, and then he would start to just improv things like, this character appears, and he's just making this fucking character up as he goes. So it really comes down to who your DM is. Like, if you're a shit DM and you're not creative, you're probably just going to be by the book. But if you're really creative, or if you're drunk, like we probably would be, it could turn into like, so wait, we fought goblins, and then Alex like had sex with some dude in the corner while I killed a goblin? How did that happen? Like, it could be shit like that, dude.
And then it's just going to be, I'm going to take a giant swig of whiskey and put it down the bottle and go, I'm gonna get racist and make up like, isn't that this is a reference I've seen on Reddit and other places in reference to the D&D subreddit where people will ask like, I'm doing a campaign, okay, and I want to implement discrimination. What are some racial slurs that I can use for like goblins?
Yeah, see, like I feel like that stuff is. It's cool in universe, but it's also a little like...
It's like, okay, you're designing this fictional world and you want to be racist.
It's like, you fucking gobnobber. You're like...
You want to be racist? That's what you're going with?
Yeah, like, I don't know, I could see where it could have some cool implication, but like, save that shit for the movies and the games, like, where it's characters that are like acting.
Yeah.
Not like I don't want to make a racist character in D&D.
All I'm thinking is like... I understand, like, within universe or, like, in a video game in universe it's acting, and that's fine. And maybe it is acting, but it seems like at that point you're just veiling, veiling, like, an actual thought that you have about another
Especially
group of people.
Especially if you're creative with it, too. Like one of the guys we play with who's not related to us, it's my brother's friend, he started playing D&D with us.
Yeah.
He's really intelligent, like, super quick and witty with everything. If he just started pulling out, like, in-game racist things, I'd be like, how is he so quick with these racial remarks? How does he know the context every time?
I had to look that one up.
if he busted that out, I would immediately be, like, a little suspicious. Cause
and they sound like very similar to actual racial slurs. Oof.
Wait a minute. 2Gs, 3G. Oh, no.
Oh, no, this can't be.
Same meaning? Oh, no.
How did we get onto racism?
Talking about beating the meat with my nephew, basically. Telling him how I mentioned beat the meat, and he repeated it.
So.
And then he repeated gangbang as well. So.
Oh, man.
Chris, you have any funny stories of things you've said that someone's repeated?
Not that someone's repeated, but I've definitely said the wrong thing in some context. I can't think of an example, but, like, it's fine. Like, I don't speak a whole lot anymore.
Just host a podcast, but yeah.
No, I'm talking about in family environments. I don't speak a whole lot anymore. Because I know for a fact I'm going to make some out-of-pocket joke or, like, some remark in front of my dad or, like, in front of one of my family members, and they're going to be like, what the fuck?
What the fuck is wrong with that guy?
What is your problem? Because I will make remarks, and I'll say it in a specific tone, and you know, it's a very flat, dry delivery, and if you're not around it all the time, you don't know what you're getting into.
Yeah.
You don't, like, is this guy serious? Or, like, is he...
Yeah.
And that's something I've been, like, kind of working on with, like... Because I noticed, like, oh, when I'm with my friends, these jokes hit. But when I'm with people that I don't know as well, they don't.
Yeah.
And it's all in my delivery, I think.
Well, I was gonna say, it all comes down to like the same thing that happened between us in high school, where like we didn't like each other for a span of time, or at least I didn't like you for a span of time, because I wasn't familiarized with this intonation and the way you presented things. I'm like, he's just being a fucking dick. And then over time, it's exposed to someone. Like, there's plenty of things you could say right now that I'd be like, oh, dude, that was mad funny, and there's plenty of people listening who'd be like, huh?
Like,
the fuck? Like,
the only example here that jumps to mind is when my nephew was like a baby. So I was like 13 or 14, maybe even younger. He was like 2 years old, maybe.
Chris is like, I fucking spiked him, dude. Like,
He didn't really talk. He was a bit of a baby.
He's a little bit of an infant.
But he was like at the stage where he was like touching shit, like grabbing things, and my brother, or my sister-in-law or someone at some function had a beer bottle, and it was empty, but it was like in front of him, and he had the kid, and it was just holding the baby, and he goes and the baby's picking up the bottle, and he's like, I don't know if it might have been one of the beer bottles that has a twist top.
Mm-hmm.
So and the baby's fucking with the top, and he twists it off. I'm like, oh, and everyone's like, oh, that's one smart kid right there. He could do basic functions. And then he's like looking at this bottle. He's like observing, and it's like just sitting on the table. He's observing this bottle, and he like goes to put his mouth on it. And I said, when he opened the bottle, I go, oh, I guess you're raising some kind of genius. And then he's like looking at this open bottle, and he goes to put his mouth on it. I go, oh, I guess you're raising an alcoholic. And that
see, that's funny as shit.
That's funny. No one else thought that was funny.
Everyone's like, oh, Chris, oh my god.
You joking about an addiction? Ew, dude.
I'll have you know. Chris is like, all right, fuck off.
All right, don't fucking relax, okay?
That's hysterical to me. That's fucking hysterical. I would laugh. Then I'd make him drink it.
It was very much like no, he's just curious. I know.
What do you
He's
think?
a
I'm
baby.
fucking dumb as shit. Like,
I'm not a moron. Oh man.
They had to like explain, like, Chris, so this is how the human body works. Chris, I know.
I understand. Okay, I understand, and I think it's more so like, I think I have a lot of knowledge of like weird esoteric things that like I will make jokes and references to that literally no one will get ever.
Pretty much.
And a lot of times when I make a reference to one of these things, I have to find the reference material to show people so that they get it.
Yeah.
So, there's it's things like that usually that. I thought you were about to yell into the mic.
No. I'm just looking to see if I have anything on the notes that I actually really wanted to talk about.
Don't really get me into trouble, but like it's still something that it doesn't land as well as it should.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the Witcher thing.
Yeah, I was gonna say we were talking about that. I wanted to just kick that off by saying, "What the fuck, Henry Cavill?"
Yeah, let me hang on. We gotta hear that. You hear that? You hear that noise? You know what that is?
Switching gears.
It's a segue.
Oh, I got you.
Witcher 3 had a next gen update recently.
Recently, as in like 4 days ago. Yeah, happened on like Tuesday or Wednesday.
And I've heard it looks great, but the performance leaves something to be desired.
Yeah.
And when I say I've heard, I mean I haven't read any news stories. I haven't watched any videos. I heard one account from one person that I know.
Okay.
So that's the only reference I have.
Yeah, no, so it does look really good. It added ray tracing, which I couldn't really care about. Ray tracing's so overhyped to me. Like,
I kind of agree. Like it looks fucking fantastic.
If it's done right, yeah, that's fantastic.
However, the tax on your system
isn't worth
the way it looks.
Think of something like Red Dead 2, right? No ray tracing. There's not a hint of ray tracing.
And that game looks fantastic.
And it looks incredible. Now, would it look even better with ray tracing? Yeah, but I wouldn't be able to lock it at 30 frames per second on the Steam Deck like I do now. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, it wouldn't look so great. It wouldn't run
And that's why I think having ray tracing on, like, the PS5 is something that's, like, interesting because they're going to get every drop of blood they can. And I don't know if... Because I'm playing God of War in performance mode, favorite performance, rather than favor
that's how I'm doing
graphical fidelity. So I don't know if you turn on the graphics mode, they do ray tracing or not.
I don't think they do for God of War.
But in
Spider-Man, they do.
But personally, the favor performance mode, it looks great and it runs great. So
it runs fucking incredible. I had one stutter in the entire game.
I haven't seen any dips yet.
It was like I turned and I could clearly see something loaded real quick, and then it was fine.
I did soft lock the game. That did happen. There was an encounter I had to have, and what happens is Kratos and Atreus walk into a room. You might know which part I'm talking about. You walk into a room, you have to talk to someone, and I had this weird glitch where Atreus would slide around the room, and then I couldn't trigger the encounter, so I had to save and then reload. But anyway, moving back to Witcher.
So they updated it. They made it look really good. It's got ray tracing. The game looks incredible. One of my favorite additions that I was hoping to play on the Steam Deck until I found out they broke it on there is the over-the-shoulder camera. So it's got like a God of War camera now. You can turn on and off. So instead of that big zoomed-out camera, you can have it like God of War, like right up against the back, just like Kratos. You can then, and it also has other customizations which are cool, which is like, all right, when I'm on foot, do that. When I'm in combat, zoom out a bit. When I'm on horseback, go back to the original camera. Like a couple different modifiers to make it actually good. So there's that. A couple other like minor gameplay improvements, like you know how you'd have to pull up the radio menu to get your ATSI, IGNI, all your signs. Yeah. Now you can use a button selection to just cycle through.
Oh, okay. I think there was a selection, unless I'm mistaken.
I think there was a quick slot for like one or two, but now it's almost like you just hit left on the D-pad and cycle through them. I don't know if that's exactly how it's implemented, but there's a button for it to just cycle through them, which is cool enough. Like whatever, just little minor tweaks here and there. But they fucking broke it on PC. They fucking broke it on the Steam Deck completely.
Would you expect
anything?
And
they added a launcher, by the way.
Would you expect anything different from CD Projekt Red? CD Projekt Red, since Cyberpunk came out, has lost so much respect from me.
Yeah.
I still respect them as a developer and especially as a storyteller. As storytellers, they can make some fantastic stories. But, as developers, I'm like, God, man, every time they do, they just keep foot in mouth immediately.
Yeah.
Just play test the game a little more.
Yeah.
Please.
So the good news with Steam, as opposed to, console, right? The only way to play The Witcher 3 on console on version 1.0 or any other version is to have the disc.
Right.
On Steam, you can just go in the beta section and reload a previous version of the game.
Yeah.
Call it a day. So I'm probably going to do that because it was Steam Deck verified before. It ran at locked 60. It was great. Now it's all fucked up. I'm pissed about that, but I'm more so pissed as well is that they're trying to say the performance is fine and that it's
fine. It's just your eyes are wrong.
Yeah, I don't know. And, even down to, what they did with the Steam Deck, right, is you can't run it at DirectX 12. You had to run it at DirectX 11 using, Proton Experimental. And do all this other fucky shit. Partially because they added a launcher. So now there's a launcher.
Which is,
annoying.
There's no reason for that.
Yeah, which is annoying. So they already added that inconvenience. Broke it on Steam Deck. They gave the community a fix. They said, this is what you have to do for launch options to fix it. Then they updated The Witcher 3 again and broke that. So now it just doesn't work half the time at all. And it crashes all the time too. But with that in mind, I hope it gets fixed. I'd love to see it get back to where it was, deck verified and all, and I will happily replay that game. If it's not, I'm going to just go back to version whatever the fuck it was before that and play it that way, because I was looking to replay it after Red Dead, possibly.
Because that's fair. Having replayed, I've replayed...
Because it's still a great game.
I've replayed Red Dead a fair amount of times, and I've replayed The Witcher, somewhat recently. It was definitely worth a replay.
Yeah.
I replayed it, obviously, before the update, but...
Right. This is my third Red Dead 2 playthrough, so when I'm done with this, if I do that, it'll be my second Witcher 3 playthrough, and I have a much better grasp of RPGs. That was my first real RPG that I got into, and I've played a lot more since then, like Horizon Forbidden West and shit like that, so I'll have a much better grasp of that stuff, where I think this time around, I'll enjoy it a lot more.
Yeah, and, you gotta play Blood and Wine.
And I gotta do that. That's my other goal, is to, play Blood and Wine.
And doing a full, when I did my last playthrough, I'm like, I'm not gonna go crazy. And then I went crazy, and I'm like, I reloaded my old save that I had, and I remember on that save, I guess I misremembered this, where I thought I had made all the Grandmaster, Witcher armor, but I didn't. I only made, one or two sets, and then I made the rest master-crafted. And I was like, fuck, I still want to do that. But I'm like, I don't want to go too crazy. No, I'm gonna do it. I spent hours like grinding to get money to buy
do it.
the materials and then like make all the armors, and I finally did, and I did it, and I put them all up in like to display them, and I went, and then I closed the game.
And haven't played since.
And I haven't played because, well, obviously I was done with the story at that point.
Yeah, true. But yeah, I do want to replay it. I'm just upset. Like, it's just like, please, just test your shit. Like, it was a free update anyway. Like, it was a free update. What were you were hoping, the only thing you could gain from this, maybe a couple extra sales and publicity. That's what you needed. You needed good faith with the community, and they got it to an extent because they updated it for free. But then they fucking, like, broke half of it.
But yeah, here's the thing. Yeah, I don't know what force is making this happen. I don't know if it's just them, they don't have the manpower, or if it's like a publisher thing.
Right.
It's like a boardroom, 60-year-old suit who doesn't understand how video games work, and
the last video game he actually worked on was like an Atari game.
And he, the word software makes his eyes go completely white.
Yeah.
So he doesn't, he doesn't fucking know shit about fuck, and he's just like, push it out. Push out the game.
That's how I imagine every board transaction at EA goes.
Push out the game. But sir, it's not ready. I don't care. Push it out. How bad could it be? How bad could it be? Sir, the game doesn't even really run. Push it out.
We're launching
Release it.
Cyberpunk be like, we're launching it on PS4, but like it doesn't work. I just submit it. Just stop.
Release it. Release the game.
Yeah.
So, I feel like it's could be something like that, but like that needs to be resolved.
Yeah.
There's play test your game.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that every, you can still be a good developer and have shit like this happen. Like, look at Rockstar.
Yeah.
The launch of Red Dead 2 on PC was, like, abysmal.
Rough, yeah, it was pretty fucking rough with launcher issues.
I remember the launch of GTA Online originally on the 360. That was awful.
Yeah.
That was so bad where you couldn't play it for, like, the first month it released.
Yeah.
So,
and that's why Red Dead Online went into beta first, before ever releasing.
Yeah, look at where that is now.
Yeah.
So, I just think, play test your games more.
Yeah. Even like Red Dead 2, like, I have a version of the game in the fucking cabinet over there I could hook up right now, and it'd be version 1.0. There's a lot of bugs with that game. But the game itself was so good that it wasn't that bad, and it certainly wasn't a Cyberpunk. Not even close.
Well, Cyberpunk had a lot of game-breaking stuff. Or, like, not necessarily...
This is just, like, physics glitches and shit.
Yeah, it was like it was immersion... Like, that stuff was immersion-breaking, but, like, Cyberpunk had stuff that was immersion-breaking to an extreme degree.
Yeah, like, Arthur flying off his horse, I'm like, oh, that, like, totally broke the immersion, but that was funny. V falling through the map, dying, and then respawning at the beginning of the game, I'm like, a little sus.
Driving around the entire city while V is T-posing in his car.
Or, I don't know, maybe like committing a crime like the game advertised to be able to, and then turning around and the SWAT team is just there with a fucking cybernetic AK-47.
Hitting someone with your car on accident, having a fucking...
A VTOL.
Having a militia spawn in behind you, a paramilitary group spawn behind you, shoot you with machine guns 5,000 times, go around the corner and they disappear.
Yeah.
Like...
It's fucking dumb.
If they fixed that feature, or they fixed that part and nothing else, it would have been so much of a better game.
Yeah.
Like...
Especially when some of the missions relied on, like, getting a wanted level, so to speak. You, like, do this mission... And you get a wanted level, and you turn around, and there's just, like, fucking 75 cops just standing there.
Yeah, they're just posted up, and then they
gun
fucking
you down.
Fire at you with machine guns, but then you're like, oh.
You have a handgun, yeah.
Watch this. You go around the block, and they're gone.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yep. Yeah, it's almost as bad. I was going to say it's almost as bad. It's way worse, like, infinitely worse. But one thing I've gone back to Red Dead 2, and I've been annoyed with is the fucking witness system in that game is so stupid. So that guy's like, I saw you punch that man. I'm gonna run to Valentine just to snitch on you. And you're like, dude, that's like fucking 30 miles away. And he's just running. He's running. And if you just leave him long enough, eventually you'll just get a random fucking wanted level.
Yeah.
But then, like, it sucks when you're in a city. So, like, I went to Ansburg, right? I did, that not stranger mission, that encounter where you're riding through the woods and the lady limps up to you and she's like, my horse died.
Yeah.
And then she asked her to take her to Ansburg. I take her to Ansburg. Dude, I fucking went right over a hill. Wrapped her. She died. She died. I went ass over tea kettle, dude. Arthur's just like splayed out on the ground. My horse is like on the ground. She's dead as fuck. 15 witnesses. I'm like, I gotta get out of here. Like, I can't do a thing. Immediately wanted level, like, getting chased. $50 bounty. I'm like, what the fuck? Like,
I like when there's, like,
annoying.
one witness who does that. Like, they're like, I'm gonna sprint back to town. I'm gonna tell the sheriff. And they sprint back to town. And you're just like, well, I guess I'll deal with this.
Yeah, pretty much. And, yeah, that's the only thing that's, like, shit.
So anyway, I started blasting. So.
But, yeah.
Yeah, man. Video games, you know what I'm saying?
A little bit goofy.
What's the deal with them?
Fucking goofy video games, man.
Goofy games.
But, that's all I got.
Anyway, are we done here?
I believe we're done. We have a special cookery thing to do.
Yes.
It's meth.
Yeah.
Actually, I just realized. I went through all that trouble before to talk about grinding stuff up to hide the fact that we're making gingerbread.
This comes out
after that. We made gingerbread houses. Maybe. I really made it sound like we were dealing with illicit materials.
Stupid. We're so stupid.
I'm like, oh, Chris, the special project. Oh,
you
guys saw it a week ago.
special little project that came out a week ago.
See, this is the problem with doing stuff in the past for the future.
Yeah, I suppose you're right.
Anyway.
Oh, wait, no, you gotta do the platforms again.
But are you fully done? Done.
I'm fully done, yeah. I'm fully, like, here, I'm reaching under here.
Just... Drum roll, please. As always, you can find us on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Breaker, Radio Public, Spotify, Pocket Cast, and the RSS feed, all linked below. It's also YouTube with a video platform, obviously, and then Spotify has a video platform. And you can contact us via email, synapsemisfire@pm.me. Send us your comments, questions, concerns, and death threats. There's also Instagram and TikTok. All that stuff's linked below. Go check it out. Check out the links, please.
Yeah.
I'm out of here.
Bye, everyone.